Hello, I'm Julia Rubel and I'm here with Greg Principato, President of ACINA. Greg, could you tell us why the FAA shutdown was such a big deal for U.S. airports?
Absolutely. First of all, you had hundreds of airports around the country, big and small, that had projects already approved, many out to bid, that had to stop progress on those projects because of the lack of Airport Improvement Program funding. You had over 200 projects that were already ongoing, shovels in the ground, dirt already turned, people at work, that had to be stopped because of that, those construction sites laying idle and those people being sent home to their families without a paycheck. And several airports in the northern tier lost the construction season entirely. And then finally, you had $25 million a day that should have gone to the Aviation Trust Fund to pay for capital improvement projects and air traffic control modernization. That money didn't go into the trust fund, it's gone forever. In fact, we're very concerned about that. We've actually gone to the FAA and asked them to talk to us a little bit about what that means for the future of the AIP program and really for the future of a financially tenuous aviation trust fund.
So what important lessons can we learn from the FAA shutdown?
Well, I think there are a couple of lessons. The first really big lesson, I think, is that this was a case where a strong, united, determined airport community really made the difference in getting the FAA opened. Our members were out there talking to their senators, talking to their congressmen about the importance of the shutdown, what it meant in terms of projects stopped and jobs destroyed. They were out there talking to their local officials, to their business communities, to the local media. I was out in Illinois, a small community in Illinois in the early part of the shutdown. I opened up a local paper and there was the headline, airport construction project stopped because of FAA shutdown. So that message got out there, and we saw that come back here to Washington when congressmen and senators were talking about what was going on in their community. That work that was done out there by our members, talking to people locally, came back to Washington and ultimately was a huge part of the force that was essential to get the shutdown stopped. Secondly, with our friends the airlines, we just got to face up to facts. With them, it's all about the money. You know, they've talked for years about the fact that in their mind, that taxes keep people from traveling, and they had a perfect chance to prove it, to put their money where their mouth was and pass those savings along to their passengers, maybe gain a little goodwill along the way. But they decided not to put their money where their mouth was, instead to put the money into their own pockets. And then they had the audacity to say, well, the passengers aren't any worse off than they were before, so it's really no big deal. That was just ridiculous. And you know, one airline person was heard to say to someone, well, we're not really worried about the backlash because Wall Street will have our back. They're okay with this. Well, this might play on Wall Street, but it's not going to play on Main Street.
So after Labor Day, the Congress will reconvene and they only have 10 days for them to either work on a new extension or make another FAA reauthorization bill. Are you worried?
I'm very worried. 10 days in Washington is not a long time. You got a weekend in between. It's very hard to get anything done in Washington in any length of time these days, but 10 days is not a long time. That's why we really need to keep the pressure up out there. We need to keep hammering the story home with congressmen and senators when they're home for recess. They have these town meetings in every state and every district in the country. We're going to be out there with information for our members about when those town meetings are, where they are, so the members can get out there and tell this story to their congressmen and to their senators. We need to keep the local business community involved. We need to keep the local media involved. You know, an important part of this story is now that the shutdown is over, people are curious about what the restart means. So airports have a chance to bring congressmen and senators out to the airport, show them what the shutdown meant, show them what the restart meant. And that's a really good opportunity for us during this recess. So those members of Congress and those senators come back here determined never to let the FAA shut down again. If we do that, we can accomplish two really important things. Number one, we can make sure that on September 16th there's a bill or an extension passed, and so we don't have the same nonsense that we had the last couple of weeks. And second of all, we can really start to tell the story in a really fully comprehensive way of airports as an economic driver for the economy of this country and lay the groundwork for our long-term goal of financial freedom and flexibility for America's airports.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.